Yeah, my name is Bob Fandre, and I served in Vietnam. I was in the Air Force. Enlisted in is it June of 1964, and went from there down to Texas for my basic training, and then went to another part of Texas for my aircraft repair type of training. And then after my training, I went to Wurtsmith Air Force Base in Michigan, and was there for 3 years working on transit aircraft, which means different aircraft from that would come into the airport there, or the base, and we would service them as far as changing the tires or refueling them, minor maintenance like that.
Sure.
And it was a SAC Air Base, which is a Strategic Air Command, and the B-52s and the 135s, the KC-135s were the refueling ones for the big bombers, and I worked on those also, and was there 3 years, and then I decided, well, I'd like to get out of here. I've been up to Wurtsmith Air Force Base in Michigan, for 3 years, and I'm from Wisconsin, and I want to see some more country.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go down to the office down there and apply for a transfer to get a different base. Well, wasn't too smart, because I wanted to go maybe to Germany or France, and I had 3 options to do, 3 choices.
Right.
So I put down, I think Germany is number 1, France number 2. Yeah, I couldn't figure out where else, and I thought, well, there's a war going on, so maybe I won't get picked for that anyway, but I'll put it on Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I gave the paper to the guy, and he looked at me and says, well, son, I tell you, he says, you're not going to the first 2, you're going to go to the third one. He says, that wasn't too smart of you to choose that one. And I laughed, and I thought that was kind of funny, but so then I went down to Texas, down to Florida, MacDill Air Force Base down there, and I trained for, I think it was April through September on an F-4 fighter jet,
Okay.
as an aircraft mechanic. And after September, or in September, I graduated from down there, went up to Washington State. We flew out of there to Vietnam. And from there I was aircraft mechanic on an F-4.
So you repaired the F-4s when they came in?
Right, yeah. We got them ready for flight. And that was quite an experience for that year when I was there. Vietnam, you go to Florida and it's hot and humid.
Mm-hmm. But
when I got off the plane in Vietnam, or just before we got off the plane, they shut the aircraft down, shut the air off. Everybody's kind of, you could keep the air on, No, they're getting us used to the weather out there. Little did we know, when we get out of the airplane, it was just like something hit you in the face.
Sure.
It was so hot and so humid, and, oh my, what did I do? Volunteer for this? Now I'm here, I can't go back. But I had a really interesting time there. I was on the flight line. I had done the repairs on them. I was a crew chief. I was able to do the run-up on the engines when they had to test the engines. We would get the aircraft to the run-up area, drop the hook on there so we wouldn't, when they run the engine high, we wouldn't go scooting across the runway. So
yeah, what you did, the behind-the-scenes things that
Yeah.
are so important that even a pilot doesn't necessarily always even think about all the things you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that goes behind that.
Yeah, we were one-on-one with the pilots. We got to be the buddies. I knew all the pilots in my squadron, and they relied on me that when I signed off on the plane was ready to go.
Yeah, so they wanted to know you really well.
Oh yeah, real well. Yeah, took care of me.
So were you married while you were doing service?
No, I wasn't. I was single. And in fact, when just before I got out, United Airlines knew that, I forget how it was that I got in connection with United Airlines, but they wanted to hire me when I got out of the service, and they were going to pay me big bucks to go to San Francisco to train to be the crew manager or whatever for United Airlines. And I thought, wow, this would be pretty neat, because I'm already liking aircraft and doing this. But then with Karen, my wife now, it was my girlfriend at the time, she said, well, she wasn't going to get married if I stayed in the service.
Wow.
She wanted to be here with her folks.
Sure.
You know, and I said, well, okay, that sounds reasonable. So what I did then is told the guy at the in Vietnam before I left that, no, I'm not going to re-up for another 4. So I decided to come home and then get married.
And where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Wisconsin?
In Wausau.
In Wausau.
Yeah,
so,
all my life, yeah.
And so when did you come back to Wausau?
Actually, I got back to Wausau in August of 68.
And you've been here ever since?
And ever since, and then we got married in June of 69, and been married happily ever after. Doing really well. I've had a lot of problem with, and it's under control now, but PTSD from the service. Because in Vietnam there was a lot of things happening that aircraft are being shot down, and I had to go in a helicopter, Army helicopter, to go to a base to repair one of the F-4s that couldn't make it back. And I'd go there, they'd fly me, we'd go over the top of the, the trees and everything. And it was really, I wasn't used to this, I'm an Air Force guy, I'm not an Army guy. Here's a gunner in the window, or in the door, he's shooting, as we're flying, and I'm going, gosh, I don't like this, I'm going to repair this aircraft, and he's flying nuts, going up and over the trees, and so they don't get shot, We get to the air base thing where the F-4 was, and I had to stay there to get the thing going for the next day. Well, it's nighttime now, and they got floodlights on. Like the enemy goes, oh, look there. There's a guy.
Did you take fire?
Yeah, we took fire there, but I had another guy with me too, We repaired it, and the Marines and the Army protected us. So that was nice, the feeling. And the next day, when we got aircraft done, the pilot came and said, well, he doesn't have a co-pilot, navigator with him, so I could, if you want to come along, I'll get you the helmet, and we're not going to go that far. We get back to the Cameron Bay where I was stationed, and I was ready to do that, and another officer came out and said I can't do that because I was enlisted. I wasn't an officer. He wasn't allowed to do that. And the pilot said, he says, if he wouldn't have been there, he says, you would have gotten the flight in an F-4. And I said, oh, cool. But that's too bad,
Yeah.
But, the things that I had done in the service, like say over in Vietnam, were a lot of things that I never expected to see. Seeing somebody come in an aircraft that was shot and having to pull the dead body out of the aircraft, that bothered me for years. I'd cry at times,
Sure.
Be thinking about it. But I went to the vet service here in Wausau, and I'm seeing a therapist there about 2 times a month, which really helps because we were able to talk about it, and she's like a psychologist. A lot of guys that have been in the service over in Vietnam need to get this service for themselves. And they need to come out and say, hey, I got a problem. I'll talk about it, but I need help. Because there's so many people that commit suicide. Vietnam guys, I forget how many it is there every day commit suicide because of that, because they don't want to get help.
Wow.
I got help, and it really, helped me a lot.
That is amazing.
It is.
And that's fantastic. It's fantastic that you were open enough to be willing to get the help, and that help has helped you. You feel it's been very good for you?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. It's helped me tremendous. Now I can talk about it. I can tell you that, I see this guy, the pilot dead, and carrying him out and all that kind of stuff. And it would bother me for a long time that I would blame myself for maybe not fixing the aircraft right.
Right.
Thought maybe it was my fault. I caused them not to come back, or something happened. I blamed myself. And then through the therapy, we were able to talk about it, and we'd get it out, and they'd say, well, it's not your fault. And she helped me with that. Really did well.
So before you had the therapy, you never talked about it?
I did, but not much.
Not much, and just
Right.
with maybe your wife or something.
Right,
Close.
and then a couple of times where our friends were over, and they were asking me about stuff, and then for some reason, we had a few drinks and stuff, so then I would, tell more about what happened, and then all of a sudden I'd just cry like crazy.
You've taken the honor flight before. Have you been to D.C.?
I've been to D.C. before, but not to see the memorials at that time. And then I signed up for the honor flight, and I was there 2 years ago in October. And it's an experience that I think everybody that's eligible in the service, whether you're Marine, Air Force, Army, it's really helpful to see that. It's a day that you remember for all your life. They give you such good tours. You get together with all the guys. You're all one as before. You get to see all the memorials. They feed you. They take you around all the places. And the unique part about it is when you're in the buses that they have. You get toured around, or not toured, but escorted through D.C. with a police escort, which is pretty neat. You feel pretty important, because they got the 3 buses full of guys, and they're going all over the place and telling everybody get out of the way, sirens going,
And so what memorials were you able to see?
I got to see all of them. We stopped at every one of them. The one that really meant a lot to me was, and I wasn't in Korea, but the Korea Memorial is really unique because it shows the shoulders are like statues and stuff. They look real. They look like real people, and it's out in a area that like they would be over in Korea. Really neat.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that, and all the memorials were really unique. The Air Force one, of course, I thought was really great because it had the big spires coming up, and they went out like this, as like you'd see an aircraft trail go out. That was pretty neat.